What's happening? Episode 111. Triple one.
I thought you were going to say 1111.
111. I am Shane.
And I'm Nico.
We're warm. We're nice and warm now.
Yep, it's 65 degrees out now.
Yep. And yeah, so it's been a crazy week here in the great old state of Texas.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the South went through the same weather problems that we did.
Yeah.
What do they call it? A polar vortex?
Something like that, yeah. It was basically ice capades or something like that. You know, everybody was... It's funny because here in Texas, whenever it snows even a tiny bit and it gets on the roads and all that, everybody starts freaking out. Everybody drives super slow.
Or drives like a maniac because they don't understand what black ice is.
Right.
But this time, it was not just a mere dusting of snow, as some northerners have implied. We can't just put on 3 layers and be good. We were fortunate enough that we didn't lose power, but a lot of people that we knew did.
Yeah, it was a pretty sad situation, and other people came out and said that their electric bill was just through the roof. Yeah,
it was either like, because if you don't know, Texas has somewhat of a deregulated electric grid.
Somewhat. Not 100%, but somewhat.
Yeah, it's still controlled by the government and everything. But there's this thing that you can do, which is like get on a monthly plan. Basically, you're getting wholesale electric prices. But the problem is so what happened was when the polar vortex hit around last Sunday and went into the rest of this week, like right after Valentine's Day, basically.
Yeah.
The temperatures were, I don't know, like before, maybe like in the 40s, right? Like
something like that.
Something normal for Texas weather.
Yeah, because, you know, it's February, like mid-February now. Or
and usually, like for the last 5 years, usually it's kind of turned into spring by mid-February. So like we were expecting, normally you would be expecting like 40s, 50s, maybe even to the 60s. But what happened to us was there was a polar vortex that went straight down through the middle of the United States, and basically dropped temperatures down below zero.
Yeah.
So a lot of the electric companies were told by the government of Texas to have rolling blackouts, which, from what I've heard, were not rolling blackouts. They were like select areas getting their power cut. And because when we were told about that, and the electric companies kind of like let everybody know, they were saying like, oh, you know, we'll be like 45 minutes here or there, you know.
Right.
So it won't be like longer than a couple of, maybe at most 3 hours, right?
Yeah. So how did it go?
So then there were certain parts of the state and different parts of different cities and like smaller cities that
were screwed.
Completely screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like a couple of days without electricity. So like no heat, no electricity, and then by that happening, no running water because their pipes froze.
Right.
And some people were in these conditions for more than 3 days, which was absolutely insane for Texans because, first of all, our infrastructure was not built for this.
Yep.
Because we're built to withstand heat.
Right.
Not cold. Because this hardly, like, ever since I've lived here, like, and since you've lived here longer than me, this has not happened. So, and a lot of the way the construction of the houses are and apartments is not super insulated for cold weather.
Right.
So basically what happened was some people froze to death in their homes. Some people slept in their cars and then they got carbon monoxide poisoning from keeping their car running. And like other people had their roofs fall in from the pipes bursting. And then especially with apartments, like a lot of the people who were in apartments where people didn't keep their sink dripping or they lost power for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, because everybody's pipes and everything like that. It's all kind of just
interconnected.
Yeah.
So people had like ceilings falling in, completely flooded. It was just a mess because, all the hotels are filled up.
Right.
People can't go anywhere. It was really bad.
Yeah, and I saw some local communities that are kind of helping each other to see, oh, hey, you need this, or I'll help you with this, or anything like that. Like I'll try and prepare meals because my power's not out or anything like that. So I'll try and help as many people as I can. I did see some of that, which was good.
Yeah, and there was people saying like, I'll house anyone who has no power. We have a spare bedroom, blah, blah, blah. Or like I saw other people taking stray animals and lost pets in and letting them live in their garage.
Right.
So that was encouraging to see. It's just maybe like you just don't go on Twitter. If anything like this ever happens, just don't go on Twitter.
Well, some people probably couldn't because they couldn't charge their phone. So, or anything
and actually one of our friends, someone that we know on Twitter, she lost power for 4 days. Her door got frozen shut. So her and her cat were stuck in the apartment or house or whatever for those 4 days with no power.
Man, that's crazy.
And no water.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a crazy situation. And so throughout this whole thing, it's funny when you're talking about like how the cold just basically just took over basically the entire continental U.S. Florida, though, they're like, 75-degree weather. Whoop,
that was so weird. The weather map, it was like everybody was in below freezing temperatures or like below zero around where we were. And then it was like Florida was like 75.
I'm at the beach. This is awesome.
I know. And then my friends who live in Florida or like the other people who I follow who are in Florida, you like look on their Instagram or Twitter and they're like, oh yeah, we're at the beach. Like gonna go out to a restaurant tonight, blah, 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 like wearing shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should move to Florida. Hurricanes aren't so bad.
It's definitely in consideration for sure. Yeah.
But we're okay now.
Yeah. Everything's like we're saying at the beginning, the temperatures are warming back up. It's not below freezing or anything like that.
It was weird. Like, cause it was in freezing temperatures and then it hovered around, 19 degrees for like 2 days. And then it shot back up to like 50. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. That's one of the things for people that live in Texas is how they make fun of the weather being bipolar. Oh, like you were saying, one day it's going to be 32, and the next day it's going to be 59 or something like that, and raining and storming. It's just,
or 75.
Like, yeah.
But we never get temperatures that are below 32 degrees.
Very rarely, yeah.
And I saw a lot of different stories about people either dying or having really serious problems in the first part of the week where it was -0 and then -12 and
because being in those type of climates, especially when you're inside a house or an apartment or wherever, it's really tough, or if you're in a car, that's pretty bad too, because you're in a really small confined area, and so all the cold or whatever is there. And because there was that one story of that one kid who passed away, and apparently they're all huddled up, or
they were all huddled together, like all next to each other sleeping, but he still died of hypothermia. And then there was another story out of Houston where a family was burned alive in their house because of an electrical problem with the water pipes being burst. So there was a lot of stories like that. And then the one thing I don't understand was like some people were saying like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just like, up north, we sometimes have power outages and we get through it. Yeah. But it's like, and a lot of people here are not prepared for that. And it's really sad to think about the elderly people and the people with young children who just went without power for days and they didn't know where to go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can't go out and drive because the roads, and it's really stupid when you think about it. Something like this where the roads.
Oh yeah, the roads were another thing.
The roads, we're talking about the roads. Yeah, roads. But it's hilarious to look, because when one of the days I was driving, and you're literally in one lane, and then if you go in the other lane, you're basically going through snow and slush or whatever, and your car's like oh man, I gotta it's
we're not saying this as native Texans. We both came from up north.
Yeah, it's like we're born and raised.
And it was not like that up north either, because they would treat the roads before it happened. But here they were just like, well, I guess we'll just wait for it to melt. It'll be 50 on Sunday, so we'll just wait for it to melt. Meanwhile, the roads are terrible and everything basically has to close.
Right. Yeah. So another thing that happened throughout this whole thing that kind of, I don't know, for us, it was, I don't know, it was kind of interesting, was the story that at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect us personally. It's not like something, oh man, I'm going to get more money on my electric bill or anything like that. But it was kind of like, I don't know, like what a better way to say it, but like the optics of it was just like really bad. And I think even people who were kind of defending it were like, yeah, the optics were bad, but at the end of it, it's like, who cares? But okay, so the whole thing is that Ted Cruz and I think his family as well, they went to Cancun for a day.
Well, basically what happened was he took his kids there, and then he got some criticism, and then he came back. But he left his kids there, obviously. But,
yeah. Well, I was going to say that the thing about that is, like, how long was that for? Because look, if you're a quote unquote public servant, or you're an elected official to represent a state, as a senator or whatever. And look, I get that, because some people were pointing out that, well, he's a senator, he doesn't have the control over the power grid or anything like that, and just
also like Congress is out of session, blah blah blah. But it's like, you're an elected official to be a public servant. Can you at least like not go to Cancun right now? Because it just comes off as really elitist.
Yeah, because
like, you think public servants aren't supposed to be like an elite class or something? But
they're not supposed.
They're not supposed to be. But that's the other thing. Like, some libertarians were saying, like, well, do you expect anything less? Because like, we obviously know that they are. Well,
do you expect anything less? And it's like, but. And the way they were saying it, it's like, well, yeah, of course. If I had the chance, I would go to Cancun or somewhere in a hot climate. And it's like, well, a lot of other people can't do that, And some people were saying that, well, so what do you want? You expect you just want them to freeze to death or anything like that?
No, it's like, want her to stay home. Like, how hard is that? He doesn't have to get involved in the politics of all of this, which.
Well, apparently he is, and apparently he's calling for like regulations now for prices.
Well, that's because it was a lot of people who were on the left. I hate to say it that way, but it was a lot of people on the left who were mad about him leaving, which, if you were a left-winger and you didn't like Ted Cruz to begin with, wouldn't you want him to leave? I just thought of that now.
Yeah. Stay in Mexico, or, stay there. We don't need you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, people were saying, like, if Beto O'Rourke was our senator, this wouldn't have happened.
Oh, I guarantee. Speaking of that, say Beto O'Rourke did win. I know this is going to be whataboutism, but it's kind of like one of those things where it
would happen.
I get, like, the same people who are like, I don't know what the big deal is. If Beto O'Rourke did that, they'd be like, oh, look at this elitist asshole going to Cancun. It's like, for a fact that would be happening. Like, that would happen. They would say something like that.
See, and this is the thing. I don't have a problem with him actually doing that, because I don't really expect him to act like a normal person.
Right.
Because he's a rich politician. Yeah. But the thing that made me annoyed was the amount of people defending it. I'm like, can you just let it go? Like, just let it go. So that's why it became a thing. And also, I felt like I was going insane until Dave Smith talked about it on his show, and he kind of said pretty much the same thing that we're saying right now.
Right.
Where it's like, on principle, aren't you supposed to be like the public servant? Wouldn't you not be flying away during a crisis?
Yeah, because now, even
if you can't do anything.
Yeah, if he runs for re-election, which I would probably expect him to run again. I don't know, but I would expect him to. If he did, if he ran to be a senator of Texas again, that's going to be something that's going to come up. Hey, during that time when everybody was freezing and had no hot water or water in general.
It's like handing a headline to the
you're just giving
Democrats.
them, you're just feeding them things to basically attack you on. I mean, it's like, I get it. They don't like you anyway.
I hate to say this, but I'd rather have a Republican than Beto O'Rourke, because he's probably going to run again.
It's one of those like coin flips. You're just like, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like this much. It's like not even really that much.
But Beto is like, he's like super into gun control, which is really weird for being a Texan.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just don't like him, and also he's
could you imagine?
Weird.
Yeah, imagine if he did win. So he thinks that he's just gonna gun control, take all the guns. Yeah, we're gonna take your AR-15s. Like, you're gonna do that
this
here.
This is Texas.
Yeah, you can do that. Some other state that doesn't like guns as much. I don't know. Whatever. That's your prerogative.
Like, I don't know, Michigan or something.
I guess,
Wisconsin.
I don't know. Something.
I don't know that much about gun control in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it's like that's another case of where you're supposed to represent the state of Texas.
Yeah, I know. If Beto O'Rourke wins, then he's only representing the people in the cities who are in like Dallas County or something, or like in Houston, like in Center City, Houston. Like, that would be the only people he's actually representing, I guess.
Basically, yeah.
And it's weird how Texas is kind of split now. I mean, we're still considered a red state, but
it just seems
when
like
you look at the election,
nowadays,
it's like you could have the argument where you could say, like, it may turn blue within the next couple of elections because of the amount of people moving from California or just moving to the cities, and they tend to vote blue. So, speaking of that, the other thing that was really annoying was people saying that Texans deserve to die and freeze,
right,
because we voted for Trump in the Electoral College. First of all, like we just said, about maybe 40% of the state would be blue. So are you? Because I thought that was funny. Like, people were like, "I'm a socialist and I live in Texas. What about me?" And they were like, "Well, you live around bigots, so it doesn't matter." And I'm like, okay, I guess they're gonna go fight amongst each other.
You're basically guilty by association because you live in a state. Like, you live in the state of Texas, who's like you're saying, basically red. I mean, at this point, who even knows? Because it seems like it's a coin toss nowadays. Because
of the cities.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing was, like, a lot of the people who were having a lot of these problems were people in the cities, because, they were the least prepared for this kind of stuff. Like, the preppers and the people who own ranches and stuff probably had backup generators and, like, had prepared, like, a huge storage of food or things that you would probably need.
Yeah.
So the people who were suffering were probably the people in apartments with burst pipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know there were some people who are, like, more lower income in some of those really, really small towns, though. And those people are probably not even political. Like, let's be honest. They're probably just trying to survive. So I don't think it's fair to say, well, even, like, for anybody, no matter what their politics is, it's not okay to be like, you voted a certain, or no, not even you, but your state voted a certain way.
Right.
So you deserve to die and freeze.
Like, yeah, and these are the same people that are supposed to be, we need to unite now. We need to be united, and we need to, love one another and anything like that. But then when something like this happens in a state they don't like or whatever, they go, you deserve to burn in hell or, freeze or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
And, like, some people were saying, like, oh, well, Texas would have said the same thing about California during the wildfires back in the summer. But I didn't see that many people saying that. Maybe a few were saying that on Twitter or something. But, like, for one, we wouldn't say that because actually California is not that bad of a state, like, except for the politics. But, like, yeah, if their politics were different and there was lower cost of living, then I think a lot of people would like California.
Yeah, but instead they're leaving. They're leaving in droves.
They can't afford to live there.
Right.
So, I mean, and all those policies they keep enacting are, like, making it worse.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say that anybody deserves to die based on their politics or the way their state voted. And I think that making every single situation political, especially when people need help, is just, it's kind of like the gun control thing. Like, there's a mass shooting. We should probably, focus on the victims.
Everybody just goes, oh, so I'm going to go back to my team. My team was, I'm going to say what my team thinks and what my team says,
Immediately start talking about gun control.
See, this is why we need to get rid of guns. And other people are like, no, this is why people need more guns. It's just like,
It's like, maybe you could talk about that like next week, but like for right now, can we focus on helping those people?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if that happens, maybe you should be like, hey, I mean, if you want to learn to protect yourself or defend yourself, I got some gun classes that I'm teaching people how to use a gun properly or something like that. I don't know. If you're really interested in doing that.
Yeah. But instead, no, let's just ban it because that'll work.
Right. Because then they can just get a gun off the black market or something like that.
Because criminals who do mass shootings always bought their guns legally.
Oh, damn. A gun-free zone? I guess I'll just leave it alone.
I know, right?
Ah, crap. Invisible force field around that gun-free zone. Dang it.
Yeah. But in reality, it just means, oh, shit, probably nobody's carrying a gun.
Yeah.
I guess I could probably just take over this whole thing.
Yep. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much
That's our rant on Texas.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because before, oh, man.
Or especially him, he was really fired up before. But I guess he got out of his system already.
Yeah.
Because you weren't as crazy while we were recording. Like 2 days ago, you were like going off, and Misha's looking at him like.
The whole thing is just kind of crazy how you can just be like, oh, yeah. Ted Cruz going to Cancun, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, because you know what he's doing now? He's out going and giving people water and everything like that. And it's like, maybe if people didn't know he went to Cancun, I mean, he'd probably still be there right now. He's, oh shit, this is great, And then, okay, the last thing I'll say before we move on, but once you're elected as a public official, you're pretty much in session 24/7. Okay, like you're basically supposed to represent everybody here in the state or district or whatever. Like if you're a representative, you represent that district, right? So if you're a senator, you're one of two, you represent the state. So if people who are freezing or
in that area that you're supposed to represent,
right? They don't have any power, and then they see a news story where the guy who's supposed to represent me left, like that basically shows, oh well, this guy isn't a leader,
Yeah.
And it's not like we're trying to act like, oh, I want Ted Cruz to come over and be Superman and save us. We know
that politicians doesn't mean that they are leaders,
right?
But we're just saying that number one, don't be a hypocrite. Like if you're going to be a public servant,
it doesn't even matter. Like being a hypocrite is basically it. Like it doesn't even matter. Like they're all hypocrites. So even if
I still think we should be able to point it out without people being like, well, now I need to defend him even though he's not that. I mean, like, is it that important to defend him? Because someone who's seen that, they see Ted Cruz or any politician that goes out and takes a vacation, quote unquote. I mean, I don't know, but he just goes out in a time of crisis and he just leaves. Anyone is like, well, I want to do that, but I can't because I'm not financially viable. I can't do that. I don't have the means to do so. But I guess this guy does because he makes 6 figures or whatever, how much he makes. I mean, he's probably a lot more than I make. To me, that's not the issue. To me, it's the fact that he is the government. Yeah. Like if you're rich enough to leave during that, then fine, whatever. But I'm speaking. It's your own money. Yeah. I'm just speaking that in terms of how the government treats things as opposed to a private citizen or just a citizen or anything like that, or anyone else. Yeah, I understand what you mean. It's like the optics of somebody who's not super into politics, and they've been in their house for 4 days without power, and it's 1 degree outside. They're gonna look at that and be like, "Yeah, that guy doesn't represent me." Or he doesn't give a shit. Like, and I understand he doesn't care anyway. Yeah. However, I think
maybe you shouldn't go to Cancun.
Maybe just stay in your house and chill.
Stay in your house and chill.
Chill by a fire.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing, I just want to mention one last thing. Some journalists got all weird about like, oh, he left his dog at home. There's a little tiny poodle in the house. And I'm just like, that dog probably has its own caretaker anyway, because it's Ted Cruz's dog.
Yeah.
Also, like, isn't it worse to take a dog on a plane? Like, I don't know.
I've never taken a dog on a plane, so I wouldn't know.
I feel like taking animals, like any long distance trip, is probably somewhat traumatizing, especially if you're going on a plane in a little tiny kennel.
It's probably the best thing for them.
Yeah, but I just thought it was funny because they made it like an outrage story, and there's this little picture of this little teeny tiny poodle like sitting by the door, and he's like looking out like, why would you leave?
Like, where are you going? It's freezing in here. It's freezing out here. But yeah, speaking of dogs, another story about that actually is
about that or about dogs.
About dogs is I guess like Joe Biden has a couple of dogs. Because
I don't know why I thought about this, but remember the thing where he broke his ankle because he slipped on his dog while he came out of the shower?
Yeah.
I think that's the same dog that this is about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this tweet from Lilith Lovett is okay. So this is from a Newsmax, and I guess they decided. I mean, I guess it was a slow news day over there. They decided they're going to talk about Joe Biden's one of his dogs, and so Lilith Lovett tweeted, "Literally, who cares? The dog looks fine, and I'm sure there's someone whose entire job is to take care and clean it. This is 2 scoops level of pettiness."
Read the second tweet, and then we'll do the video, because I think that one really hits it home.
And then she says after, dogs play, they roughhouse, they roll in the mud. They're like that. It was probably playing in the lawn before the pic was taken. Why don't they criticize Biden for his policies instead, such as him approving a $285 million Raytheon weapon contract just now? Oh, right. They're hacks.
Yep. So let's play this clip from Newsmax. I feel like this is really a reach. Like, do they have anything else to talk about? Because
I don't know.
Why? I couldn't go criticize someone's dog.
Did you see the dog? I want to show you something I noticed. Doesn't he look a little rough? I love dogs, but this dog needs a bath and a comb and all kinds of love and care. I've never seen a dog in the White House like this. I remember Buddy.
Sounds like Trump.
Billy. I remember lots of dogs, but not a dog who seems. I don't know how much.
There are lots of dogs.
He is getting. Let's bring in the historians.
We brought in some historians to talk about a dog.
Craig Shirley, Reagan biographer, presidential historian. Craig, welcome back. And Doug Weed, presidential historian, former advisor to George H.W. Bush. That's the White House where I remember Millie. Millie had like a staff, and they really took care of her. Very beautiful dog. This dog looks like from the junkyard. And I love that dog, but he looks like he's not been well cared for.
No, not at all. Well, thank you for having us. No, he looks very dirty and disheveled, and very unlike a presidential dog like Millie or Victory or something else in the past in the White House.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
An unpresidential dog. Yeah. That's what we're going for.
Unpresidential dog. So I guess that was one of the stories they needed to talk about. And I was like, you know what? That Raytheon weapons contract.
Not that important.
But that dog, oh man, that dog looks disheveled.
Yeah. Looks like in one picture, the dog looks like the fur looks a little bit messed up. So we got to call in 2 experts to see like if that dog is being taken care of properly.
I like the beginning when he was like, looks rough or whatever it said. It's like, wow, that's a good one.
I mean, for you probably like that. Your dad jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. So, yeah, I don't know.
This is exactly like the 2 scoops ice cream thing with CNN in 2017. Donald Trump, he gives the rest of his staff 1 scoop of ice cream, and then he gets 2.
It was kind of funny when, Yeah, like you were saying, when he sounded kind of like Donald Trump. He's like, I know lots of dogs. I remember this dog and that dog. I've never seen a dog like this.
Is this like a New Yorker thing?
I don't know, maybe. But look, I don't know. I don't really know what the whole point of that was. I guess they didn't have anything else they were going to talk about.
They needed something to criticize Biden for.
They're like, oh,
but not related to Raytheon or any of his policies.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's continuing the Venezuela thing. All right, that's fine. Oh, is the Raytheon weapons contract? That's whatever.
What about that? Didn't you read the other day something about, how he said that he was going to stop kids in cages, but actually he like ramped it up?
Something like that. Oh, the immigration stuff is pretty similar to what Trump was doing. Whatever. The dog, though. Oh, we got to talk about that dog. Got to talk about that Joe Biden dog.
I don't see how they would think that would come off as good, like to their base either, because most people love dogs, and it doesn't matter who owns the dog. Yeah. Just because it's Biden's dog doesn't make him less of a dog.
I don't know. I guess according to Newsmax or the anchor Newsmax.
I do remember. Wasn't there like a picture of Ivanka's or somebody in Trump's family's dog, and it was white, and then people were saying that the dog is white because Trump is a white supremacist? That was really stupid. Just
grasping at straws, just trying to. There you go. We're gonna criticize them about.
How about this? Stop criticizing politicians' animals, because that's probably the best thing about them is their animals.
Well, what if the animal killed someone?
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have that animal if it killed someone, because it would be a really bad news story.
Yeah. I mean, I guess unless you slipped and you slipped in the shower or something like that, or remember that Joe Biden thing you were just talking about?
He said he came out of the shower and then he ran after his dog, and then he tripped over the dog on the rug.
He was rough riding. Good stuff. All right. So, as far as I know, COVID-19 stuff is still happening, right? That's still going on. The vaccine.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, in case you didn't know. So, according to Angela Merkel.
Is that how you say her name?
I think so. The pandemic will not end until world is vaccinated. So basically, every single person in I was going to say America. Every single person
the whole world is only America.
Yeah. That's how some people think. In America's vision, that's it. The foreign policy. We gotta make everyone like America's vision. Anyway, pandemic will not end until the world is vaccinated. So everybody in the world gotta get that vaccine. Bill Gates is looking at it like, oh yeah, I needed this. This is great.
I know, right? Yeah, go down, because the quote I think is pretty good. So they were having a conference of the leader of the G7 group of large developed economies. And Merkel said that they had not discussed specific percentages of their vaccine stocks that should be given to poorer countries. But she told journalists, and this is the quote, "I stressed in my intervention that this pandemic is not over until all people in the world have been vaccinated." I don't know about you, but that sounds like a threat. Because what if you don't want to get vaccinated?
Yeah. Well, you don't have a choice, according to Merkel's. Everybody's got to get vaccinated, because if you don't get vaccinated, then we're still going to have to. Because I saw something about Fauci said something along the lines of, even if you get vaccinated, you pretty much still have to wear a mask by like in 2022 or something like that. So even next year, we're still going to be doing that. Who knows how long it's going to last? Maybe in 2050, we're still going to be wearing masks and people are still going to be vaccinated. I mean, it's like we were talking about before. It's probably going to end up being like the flu. You got to get the flu shot, before you get a job or anything like that.
Vaccine before you get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking so it's still going to be considered a pandemic if they can't get those people in the Amazon forest to get vaccinated.
Could you imagine?
Can't find them.
Could you imagine you go to some island, they have no idea what's happening, no idea. They don't watch any of this crap, and then they see some people coming what's going on? Why
some medics coming over, no, you have to get vaccinated so we can stop calling it a pandemic.
You do realize that coronavirus is happening? They're like, what? I don't understand what you're saying.
And then those medics give them coronavirus by accident.
No, literally, I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak English. I don't know how I'm speaking English right now, but I'm just talking I'm just pretending. or anything like that. But
yeah, some people in a remote island haven't been vaccinated, but the rest of the world has, so we still have to call it a pandemic, even though it's just that island.
I want to know what their death toll is over there. Like some random island chains off the Pacific Ocean. What's their death count? I want to know. I'm sure there's a ton of islands that we haven't gotten death counts yet or cases. Like, what are their cases?
What about that super tiny island off the coast of Alaska? I forget what it's called.
Well, that would probably be considered under the United States. I guess whoever.
Well, actually, I think Russia took it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought there weren't any people that lived there, though.
I think there's like 42 people who live there. So,
did any of them get coronavirus? I mean, we gotta know.
I mean, if they're that isolated, I hope not, because then that would be like the whole population.
Yeah.
But anyway, Merkel's gonna find you.
But it's funny though that in that article, like you were saying, talking about had not discussed specific percentages of their vaccine stocks that should be given to poorer countries. Like they're basically telling you all the like rich countries, all the like the first world countries, basically, we're getting the vaccine first. So screw you if you're a poor nation and all that stuff. No, like, because all of us equal. We're supposed to be equal.
Well, I did hear that China, even though I guess they're not really considered a third world country, but some of the conditions that some of their people live in are.
Yeah.
But like they made their own vaccine, and I think they're giving it to other countries. So maybe they'll try to give it to poorer countries to compete with the United States or Europe or something.
Well, even with that, like, how can you trust the vaccine? Like, how do you know what's
that's
in
the
it?
thing. Like, it's only been out for 9 months?
Something like that.
So there hasn't been a lot of data to study it from.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows long-term effects of these things.
Yeah.
But they're really in a rush for everybody to get vaccinated. I mean, I can't remember. It was some activist group where they were saying we'll give you a free bag of weed if you get your vaccine.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. A free bag of weed.
Yeah.
Wow. What a bargain.
Yeah, and I know some companies are we'll pay you $100 if you get vaccinated.
Yeah, they're trying to incentivize it. We'll give you a nice bonus check if you get this lovely shot on your arm. But because you also see the with the coronavirus vaccine, it's not just one shot or not even 2 shots. You might have to get 3.
It's 3.
It's like, Jesus, man, how many freaking shots do I have to get before I'm clear?
15.
My gosh, man. Are we serious? And the sad thing about it and about this whole thing is that, like I was saying before with the flu shot, and you're going to have to get it before you get a job or anything like that. It might be the same thing for if you want to travel to another state or you want to travel internationally. You got to get your vaccine. Got to get the shot,
I'm sure it will start with employers.
Yeah.
And then it will become concerts and travel and stuff like that. Maybe it will become part of TSA. I don't know.
Who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what it turned out to be. And the sad thing about it too is that a lot of people who aren't, they don't trust any of this stuff. They just want to live their lives. Mm-hmm. And so it's at a point where they're just give me the shot because I want to live my life. If I have to get the shot, mm-hmm. Get the shot or live like a bum and not do anything ever.
Well, that's the thing. That's how it worked out with the masks too, because you can't go into any store. So how would you get anything?
Yeah.
So.
The FBI is coming to get us for talking about this crap. The CDC. Hey, you guys are criticizing the vaccine and all
masks.
This. Yeah, masks. Not good.
That kind of ruined my train of thought.
All right, we'll just move on.
Oh, one other thing I remembered. I don't remember what we were talking about, but vaccines. Some pregnant woman, or no, she was about to get pregnant, but she was trying to get pregnant. She got fired for not wanting to get the vaccine. And then it made a news story about it because of all those things it said about it may affect your fertility.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, good for her, but that sucks.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I remember someone saying they shared something on Facebook or something like that where they said, "Oh, if you get like side effects from the COVID-19 vaccine, that just means it's working."
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that before. Basically, like if you get nerve damage, then that just means it's working.
If you get the nerve damage or something, I don't know, like you die, it's working, because that was apparently a side effect. If you die,
you can't get COVID-19. So.
Well, that is true. That is very true. If you're dead, you cannot get the COVID-19. That's correct. I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe we haven't tested that. Maybe we need to test. Hey, this dead person doesn't have COVID-19, and they tested later. Oh crap! COVID-19 just seeped into the body. Now it has COVID-19. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
The last story is about COVID-19 too.
I mean, it's getting to a point where people are just going insane. This whole thing is making people insane. Especially
in countries where they're still in like total lockdown.
Yeah, it's one of those situations too where it's like, you think it's bad here in America. Oh boy. It's pretty bad in other places too. So this is in the Mirror. And the headline is, "Wanted man turns himself in for, quote, peace and quiet in prison after getting sick of pals." And so this was in the UK. And he's just like, "I'm done. I can't take my flatmates. And my flatmates are so annoying."
You're British. I don't know what's funny? You're like part British, but your British accent is terrible.
That sounds Scottish, actually, right?
It does. I'm part Scottish.
My flatmates, they're so annoying. I'd rather go to jail.
Okay, now you just sound like Count Dankula. It's just because you watch Count Dankula videos.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically what happened was, the lockdowns there, you're not really allowed to move or leave.
Yeah.
So he's been cooped up with his roommates or housemates or whatever. And I guess he decided that prison would be a better place to have some peace and quiet.
Yeah, it says in the article, it said he broke his tag off to evade capture, but became so frustrated with his annoying friends, he rang the cops to say he was handing himself into Burgess Hill Police Station in West Sussex.
How annoying do you have to be that you turn how annoying does your friends have to be that you turn yourself in?
I don't know. And also, too, it's like, I don't know if jail is the place you would want to go for peace and quiet. I mean, I guess.
I know. What happens if you drop the soap? Sorry.
I mean, if you're the only person in the cell, then I guess that's peace and quiet. But
what if you get a cellmate? What if you get a cellmate who talks a lot, and then you're screwed? You can't leave.
Yeah. Now you're gonna get really annoyed. You go from one area to another, and you still have mates there who are super annoying. I mean, where do you go after that? Like, you have to.
Himself.
Yeah, all right. Commit suicide. I guess I'll just go somewhere else. Not in this world.
Maybe, I don't know, like, what was the crime? Like, what was his actual crime that he was running away from?
So he said that the suspect, who was wanted on recall to prison, was so fed up with those he was hiding out.
Recall to prison? What did he do before? So he was, okay, so does that mean he was in jail before?
Yeah, he was a wanted man.
I mean, but he was in prison already, and then he got out, and then they wanted him back? So maybe he did. Maybe he already knows that prison is quieter than his house.
Well, that is true. But even if it wasn't someone who was in prison, can you just imagine, like, someone this whole situation is going really bad for them. They're like, you know what? Just take me to prison. Like, I'll commit a murder or something. I'll do whatever you want me to do, or I'll do whatever to get me in jail.
A store.
Yeah, I'll go get some gum or something like that. I'll steal a bag of crisps or something like that.
I don't think you go to jail for that. You have to steal something big.
Okay, I'll steal a bag of crisps, then I'll stab the cashier or something.
I won't even steal the money. You just
finally I'm free from this hellhole that is my flat with all these people. I hate them.
Well, I mean, if he wanted some peace and quiet, maybe he could just murder his friends. Because he'd be going to jail anyway.
That is true, yeah. We're giving people ideas of what they can do if they want to.
Yeah, if you're fed up with lockdown.
Really desperate. It's desperate measures, Drop the soap. Wow.
Sorry, that got really awkward at the end. We're like, oh, well, now what?
Yeah, now what? Just now what do we do? This whole situation is crazy. COVID-19.
Yeah, it's not really like that in Texas, though.
It's not. Yeah, it could be a lot worse for sure.
The only thing that they're having us do is wear a mask, but I feel like people are getting fed up with it now. Nobody social distance.
It's so funny when they go, I mean, you need to stay 6 feet apart. Do the best you can. Like, do the best you can. I'm in a small little area. How can I go? There's like hundreds of people in here. 6 feet apart.
What are you talking about?
What?
What area are you talking
about? Like a grocery store. You gotta stay 6 feet apart or anything like that. It's just like,
I thought you were talking about something specific.
No, I'm talking about this place that we're in. Oh yeah, we gotta stay 6 feet apart. You need to stay back. I gotta make it a measuring tape. Are we 6 feet apart? I don't know.
I don't want to get into that because there would be a lot of things I could say about that.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good to go now. I think
we're good to go.
I think this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Goodbye, guys. We're terrible at starting and ending a show.
Yeah, I know.
And like the middle too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for watching and listening. You can, if you want to support us, the links are in the description. Please subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. All that good stuff. It'll really help our show. Spread the word. Don't spread the COVID. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. It's really stupid. Okay. Bye.